Hey, what's up? This video is about the greatest common factor. I think it's actually very useful to just start by writing out the words here and thinking about what they mean. Because the meanings of these words here are not really the same as the meanings in the normal usage, but knowing the mathematical definitions of them, or at least the connotations of them, will sort of, I think, make this a little easier. So, greatest in math terms really means biggest. Common means shared, and factor is something that multiplies. So, really, what you're looking for, instead of the greatest common factor, you could think of it as the biggest shared thing that multiplies evenly. Maybe I should add that, evenly. So let me give you an example here. Okay, let's say that I had two numbers. How about 24 and 32? If I'm looking for the greatest common factor, or the GCF, of 24 and 32, I'm looking for the biggest shared thing that multiplies into each of them evenly. So let's just think of some numbers in general that go into 24 and 32. Well, I know 12 goes into 24, right? But the problem is that can't be my GCF because 12 doesn't go into 32. Well, how about 4? I know 4 goes into 24, goes into it 6 times. It goes 4 goes into 32 8 times. So 4 is a candidate. 4 has been nominated to be the GCF, but we need to still check. We need to think some more and think if there's any larger factors. So maybe I can just list these out. I'm going to list out all the numbers that go into 24. Well, 1 goes into 24. 2 goes into 24. 3 goes into 24. 4 does. 5, 6 does. 8 does. And 12 does. 24 actually, it turns out, has a large number of factors. So does 32. What are the numbers that go into 32? 1, 4, 2, 8, 16. I think that's it. Am I missing something? I don't think so. So anyways, what I want to look for now is the largest number in both of these lists that that is shared between them. So, see how 8 would be that number? Because you see how 8, even though it's not the largest in this list, and even though it's not the largest in this list, it's the largest number that's in both of these lists at the same time. So, there we go. That's my GCF. Greatest common factor. And you can test this by just thinking about, try to find a larger number that satisfies both of these conditions at the same time. You're not going to be able to. There's another thing here too, though, that I think is worth pointing out. The greatest common factor, it's easy to see it in terms of these integers, right? But what about if you have an algebraic expression? Now, I know some of you watching this video haven't taken algebra or anything, but if you have, this is what it means. So let's say that I had an expression like this, like a squared b c plus 4 a squared c. So sometimes you'll have a problem that says factor out the greatest common factor of an expression like this, and to do that you're going to use the same exact approach that you used with the numbers, except it's just going to be in terms of variables. So namely, you're just going to look at these two terms. Here's a term and here's a term, and you're going to ask yourself, what is the largest piece that I can pull out from both of them? So see how this has an a squared, a b, and a c? This has a 4, an a squared, and a c. So really, you're just asking yourself, what do these two things have in common? Well, they have an a squared in common, and they have a c in common. B and 4 are not in common, so B and 4 cannot be part of the greatest common factor. In fact, the greatest common factor in this case would just be a squared c. And then if I pull that out of the expression, what I would be left with here is simply a b, and what I'd be left with here simply a 4. So I could rewrite this expression like this. There's a lot of uses for the greatest common factor, but this is basically just the conceptual framework. So let me just do a real quick overview, because I feel like I went all over the place on this in this video. So I'm just gonna start from the beginning. Greatest common factor is the same as saying the biggest shared thing that multiplies evenly. So in this case, of 24 and 32, 8 is the biggest shared thing that multiplies evenly into each of these numbers. So therefore, it is the greatest common factor. The last thing I talked about was the fact that the greatest common factor is not limited exclusively to old numbers. You know, you can use it in algebraic expressions too, and this is an example of that. So yeah, that's basically it for now. I don't want to go on too long about this, but I hope that made sense, and please check out my other videos and subscribe if you thought this was helpful. Thanks for watching.